Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to my least popular playthrough of Pokemon White. In the first episode, we beat Chili to get our first gym badge. As soon as we stepped out of the gym, Professor Juniper's assistant Fennel wants to talk to us. She gives us the HM for cut, and she asks us to find some Dream Mist in the Dream Yard. First, we have to heal up the drink, and I buy a few more Pokeballs. If I'm being honest, I really wasn't paying attention to what Fennel said and forgot that I needed to go to the Dream Yard. It took me a few minutes, but we're finally headed back to the Dream Yard. To get deeper into the Dream Yard, we need to cut down this tree. Thankfully, the drink can learn Cut, and we replace Fury Swipes with Cut. As soon as we cut down the tree, Bianca shows up and pushes ahead of us into the Dream Yard. We find a Muna, and we find those hippie LARPers again who start to kick the Muna, so I'm starting to think that they're not actually hippies. Bianca rightfully calls them mean and tells them to stop kicking the Muna, and in response, they decide to battle me. This Team Plasma Grunt sends out a Patrat. Patrat. How do you guys say this Pokemon's name? Patrat starts with using Bide, and I just spam a couple of water guns. Unfortunately, Patrat never gets to unleash all that pent-up energy from not knowing how to say its own name. And we beat the Team Plasma Grunt. The Grunt's buddy also battles us and sends out a Purloin. Don't really need to mix things up, so we just continue to use water gun. Purloin manages to get a scratch in before getting knocked out by one more water gun. Even though I won both of our battles, Team Plasma continues to kick the Muna, and we all start tripping balls, seeing clones of this guy named Getsus, and he starts teleporting around. Team Plasma can't handle the trip, so they start freaking out and run away. Musharna then shows up to save its baby. As a thank you, they leave us some of that good stuff. Fennel immediately gets excited, steals our reward, and runs off. I run after her so I can take back what's rightfully mine. I catch up to Fennel in her lab, and she decides that she's just going to keep the Dream Mist, and in exchange she's going to give me the Sea Gear, which is completely useless for me. I refuse to turn it on, and then leave the building disappointed. This old guy finally lets me through, and I come across the Route 3 daycare. One of the nursery aides kindly heals up the drink, while the nursery aide outside decides she wants to battle. She sends out a Lillipup, and Drink takes care of it with just 2 water guns. She then sends out her Muna, who the drink starts licking repeatedly. One of the licks was gross enough to paralyze it. Unfortunately, she also paralyzes the drink with Synchronize. The drink then knocks out Muna with a water gun. After healing up, I then proceed to fight all of the toddlers at the daycare and take their money. The first toddler actually sends out his own drink, and we have a drink off. My drink, however, is much stronger and knocks out his with 2 cuts and a lick. After winning against the rest of the toddlers in the playground, I move on to my next challenge, these twin toddlers who refuse to battle me because I only have 1 Pokemon. Now I do have Snivy in the PC, but instead of using him, I decided to go back to Route 2, look really hard in the tall grass, where I found the next member of our team. To the surprise of likely no one, the next member is a Pansage. Now the drink is 11 levels higher than Pansage, so instead of risking a KO, I just threw a Pokeball. And we caught him first try. The best name I could come up with for our new green monkey was Yerb. So now we've got Yerb the Pansage and Drink the Panpour. Now that I have 2 Pokemons, these children will finally let me battle them. And it only took Drink and Yerb 2 turns of water guns and vine whips to beat these twins. Moving on from the daycare, Chirin challenges us to a battle. He immediately sends out his starter, Tepig, and I counter with the drink. Chirin learned from the trainer school and gave his Tepig an Oranberry, which helped him heal from Drink's first water gun, but it doesn't even matter because the second one takes him out. His second Pokemon is a Purloin, and again, a couple more water guns, Purloin's out, and we beat Chirin. After our battle, a couple of Team Plasma grunts run past us, and right behind them is Bianca with a kid, and it turns out the grunts stole the kid's Pokemon. So we chase after the grunts into a cave. The grunts then challenge us to a battle. Grunt number 1 sends out a Patrat. Their Patrat ends up being light work for the drink, and they just end up delaying the inevitable by trying to detect. One more water gun knocks out the Patrat. 2 more Plasma grunts come out of nowhere and challenge us, except this time it's a double battle. The 2 grunts send out a couple more Patrats. Of course, we send out the drink. Chirin sends out his Tepig. The drink shows Tepig how it's done and knocks out the first Patrat with a crit. Tepig hits the second Patrat with a pathetic Ember. Drink takes some damage from a bite, but then Drink shows off one more time and knocks out the second Patrat with another crit, and we win the double battle. The grunts give us back the kid's Pokemon and we return it. As a thank you, the kid gives us some heal balls, which end up being very useful later on. We make it to Nakreen City, and Chirin has us follow him a couple of steps to the left, just to show us where the Pokemon Center is, for some reason. And as a gift, he gives us some Chesto Berries, which again, come in very useful later on. And now that we've made it to Nakreen City, we can go to the outer part of Pinwheel Forest and look for the third member of our team. Any guesses? Not a P-Dove, not a Timple, but I wish. It's this guy right here. The third member of our team is Throw, the Judo Pokemon. This guy right here is the 1008th most popular Pokemon out of 1025. Now Throw here might not be popular, but he's going to do a lot of heavy lifting and carry us through the Nakreen Gym and its normal types. Get it? Because Judo. Throw. Anyways, Throw has a catch rate of 45, so he's a little tougher to catch. Unfortunately, Yerb does not live to see the catch. It's a good thing this isn't a Nuzlocke. So we send out the drink and hope I can catch Throw before he knocks out the drink as well. It takes a couple of Great Balls, but we finally catch the third member of our team. And the first thing that comes to mind when I see his beautiful face is Almo. So that's what we're calling him. So let's take a look at what Almo can do, and he has Inner Focus. Okay, so Throws can have either Guts or Inner Focus. I'd rather have Guts, so I decide to go searching for a couple more Throws and hope I can get one with Guts. Finding a second Throw took a lot longer than I would have liked. I'm honestly not sure how long it took. Right before the point where I just accept having a Throw with Inner Focus, I finally found a second one. This Throw took long enough to catch where it knocked out Almo, but thankfully he was the only one that got knocked out. And fittingly, I called the second Throw Almo Jr. Now let's see which ability this one has. So then I started looking for another Throw, and it didn't take nearly as long this time. Unfortunately, this Throw was by far the most annoying to catch. I used all of my Pokeballs and I was down to just my Netball and the 2 heal balls that the kid gave me from earlier. And it only took one of those heal balls to finally catch this guy. I name him Almo the Third, and he has Guts. It's finally over. Now we can challenge the gym. Except N was there first. He spits some mumbo jumbo at us and then asks us if we were paying attention. I just say yes, and he decides to test my memory with a battle. N starts off with a Pidoof, P-Dove. And I send out Almo the third, which is not a good matchup, so I switch him out for the drink. We hit P-Dove with a tried and true water gun, takes out a little more than half health. P-Dove hits us with a crit quick attack, but the second water gun takes him out. And sends out a Timpole, so I switch out to Yerb and hit Timpole with that quadruple super effective Vine Whip. It didn't do nearly as much damage as I was expecting, but second Vine Whip takes him out. And his final Pokemon is a Timber. And for a fun fact that I do not feel like confirming, whenever you do Battle N, he ends up using the Pokemon that you can find nearby. Anyways, I hit Timber with a Leech Seed. He starts to bide. Instead of hitting Timber, I hit out the Pro Gamer move and hit him with a couple Leers to get his defense down, and then hope the Vine Whip does the job. Again, it does way less damage than I was expecting, but the second Vine Whip gets the job done. And we've beaten N again. N spits out some more mumbo jumbo, talking about needing Reshiram, and he leaves, and we can finally challenge the gym. Except, gotta go through a quick museum tour, because this gym functions as a museum as well. We look at a skeleton of a Dragonite. We look at an inconspicuous black rock that probably has no story significance. Our tour guide flexes that the gym leader is his wife. And now, we can actually challenge the gym. We get our complimentary freshwater, and Almo III makes short work of all the gym trainers. I finally get to challenge Lenora, the normal type gym leader. Her first Pokemon is a Herdier, and of course, I send out Almo III. Herdier does hit Almo with an Intimidate, which is not great. Almo gets hit with a Leer, lowering his defense, and counters with a Vital Throw. Doesn't do quite enough damage to knock out Herdier, but it does do enough to where Lenora decides to use a Super Potion and restores her Herdier's health. Almo III uses Seismic Toss, so hopefully it'll be just enough to take him out with a Vital Throw. Herdier hits Almo with a Takedown, which definitely makes it enough to take him out with Vital Throw. Lenora sends out her final Pokemon, Watchog. Again, I try a Vital Throw, and Watchog puts Almo to sleep with a Hypnosis. Watchog then hits Almo with a crit Retaliate and knocks him out. My plan was for Almo to just steamroll this gym, so now that he's knocked out, I honestly didn't have a plan. So at this point, I'm just hoping for the best. Watchog leers Yerb, lowering his defense. Yerb misses a Leech Seed, and then Watchog hits another Hypnosis. So I just try to power through the Hypnosis. Watchog hits Yerb with another Leer, and Yerb is still asleep. Watchog hits Yerb with a Retaliate and one-shots him. So now it's all up to the drink. Watchog uses Retaliate again, taking Drink down to 15 health. Drink gets a water gun in that does pathetic damage, and Watchog knocks out the Drink with a crit Retaliate. And we black out for the first time. I've come up with a plan, and I challenge Lenora to a rematch. Again, we're starting off with Almo III. Intimidate still isn't great, but we're starting off with a Seismic Toss this time. And again, Vital Throw does just enough damage to take him out. Lenora sends out her Watchog, and I try Vital Throw again. Watchog hits Hypnosis for the third time in a row, but I came prepared and gave Almo a Chesto Berry. And he still hits Watchog with a Vital Throw, doing massive damage. Lenora heals Watchog with a super potion, and we use a seismic toss. And we try to end it with a vital throw, and Watchog hits a 4th hypnosis. So again, I try to power through it. Luckily, Throw's got decent amount of bulk, so he managed to tank that retaliate and the follow-up retaliate, waking up, hitting a vital throw, and knocking out Watchog, winning us the battle, and getting us our 2nd badge. And we'll continue this next time. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Love y'all. Besos.